fit it with narrows, wides, weights, loader arms. So it was a good functional all-round tractor. During, I think it was the Platinum edition of 19, we got class tractors, and the class Arian 600. It's towards the end of the list. Yeah, the Arian 600 is functionally equivalent to the N. And when FarmSim, I think it was when FarmSim 22 came out, we did not have any Valtras except the Q. So so the Arian 600 became my go-to cheap starting tractor with lots of horsepower, lots of tire, all the tire options, and front loader arms. But yeah, it's like, starting up, I can only afford one tractor, so I'm going to make sure the tractor can do all the things I want it to. Once I'm going, I can then afford multiple tractors, so I tend to look at jobs. What jobs can I do? And I want, at least at the top end, cultivating, planting, and ploughing on this farm are getting to the point where the only tractor I have that can do that job is the case. So I kind of want one job only that the case can do, that the rest can't. I think that was currently the subsoiler. The case I have is the only tractor I have that can haul my subsoiler. So if I need to do subsoiler work, I have to use the case. But for planting and cultivating, everybody can cultivate with this. But because I'm precision farming and trying not to use a cultivator when I don't have to, and direct drilling, I don't use this very often. But the drills I have, both the case and the Class Arian can haul them. So, I mean, if I need to subsoil and plant, I've got two tractors that can do that job, but specifically one job for each tractor. If I want to plant and seed, both my big tractors can do it, so I can just pick one at random and go with that one. But I have found your top end tractors, it's good to have two. And back on FarmSim 19, I played that for 3 years, Oakfield Farm. I did get to the point where I needed 3 big tractors because I needed a tractor that could haul a ton of stuff as well. So I ended up, I think, with 2 Class 900s and a Challenger 1000, all of which have about 390 horsepower. So all in that range, and then all my equipment was up around the 350 to 380 requirements. And then I had a bunch of small tractors that can just pick up all the other jobs. Because obviously, yes, I could do cultivating with my Magnum, or with my Class, I don't know if it's Magnum or what, Maxim. But I could do this with the case, but it's an expensive tractor to maintain. So if I can get away with using a smaller, cheaper tractor, maintenance on it's lower. So it just makes sense. You don't want all your tractors to be huge. You don't want only one huge tractor, because invariably you get to a point where I've got to work 3 fields. I've got to plough them, I've got to replant them, and I've got to roll them. And while my mid-sized tractors can roll, I need a big tractor to plough, a big tractor to cultivate, and a big tractor to plant. And I've got too many jobs for the big tractors that are capable of doing it. So it's worth keeping that sort of thing in mind. So I am looking at replacing this cultivator with something significantly bigger, but I risk having that cultivator be restricted to the case, at which point I kind of want to start considering another big tractor. Can't remember what our case is. The case is 435, this is 379, so anything in the 400, 420 range, this thing can't do. And our subsoiler is 435. That's exactly good enough for the case, but the class will not be able to hold that easily. Whereas we go to the Cedars 300, yeah, the class can do that. Planters 300, the class can do that. So I could get a 350 horsepower tractor and I can do all the jobs except subsoiling with it. We've got a very small plough, which the medium tractors can haul. We've got a very small cultivator, which the medium tractors can haul. And this tractor's not seemingly having any problems with this. Not sure what the hill's like. It's fairly shallow field, so not a problem. And we don't have animals, so I don't need a loader, a small tractor to run a mixer or whatever. This thing doesn't have. You can tell this is the spraying tractor. This thing doesn't have GPS. Now the other starter tractor I like is the Fendt Favorite 300, which again you can have all the tyre options, all the loader arm options. You can upgrade the engine to 150 horsepower, which a lot of the time is perfectly adequate, and it's a really cheap tractor. It's less than £100,000 or dollars or euros for a 150 horsepower tractor that can do all the things you want to on your farm. It is old. It's not as agile as, say, the Arian or the Valtra. The advantage with the Arian and Valtra is they're very, very, very short frame. So it means that they're quite agile in doing what they do. They can make it round a small yard. The only tractor that's probably, the tractors that would be better are things like the electric tractor, super short frame. But these are about the same size as the these two, the Valtra and the Arian, but these have the horsepower where they don't. This is four-wheel steering, which is great, but 136 horsepower, no options to upgrade. You can have a front loader on it, and it used to be. It didn't come with narrow tyres. It does now. You can get wides with weights. This is actually, it's got some good tyre options. It's got a front loader. It's four-wheel steering. So if you've got a really, really horrible yard that is really difficult to get around, the Lindner is actually quite a good tractor to consider there. But you are hampered with the 136 horsepower, so you're going to be limited to small equipment. And some of the problems with, obviously, if you're starting with a small 125 horsepower tractor, it's going to limit you a lot of the time to the in-game 3-meter equipment or smaller. And that means that when you want bigger equipment, you need a bigger tractor as well. if you've started with the Valtra N or the Ariane 600, you've already got a tractor that has fairly good horsepower, and you can run some 5 or 6 meter equipment on it. So you can, if you start out with 3 meter equipment and I want to increase that, well, I need 200,000 to buy a new tractor before I can buy any equipment that is 6 meter wide capacity and doubles the speed I can do all the jobs. If you've already got a 200 horsepower tractor, you can't double your equipment width, but you can certainly increase it 50%, 60%. So it will give you at least some benefit, and you're making lots of money. You're not spending significant amounts on lots of new equipment. My goodness, that row is horribly not straight. Good grief. This is where I like to have GPS, and obviously the New Holland, I could put it on that. I don't have GPS on that tractor, I don't have GPS on this tractor. It's only 25,000. We do need to fill up with gas though. I think we're right by the gas station. So hopefully I can get these 2 jobs done. We're 70% complete already, so that's not too bad. Did slow down a little bit at the top there. But yeah, it's getting the stuff. You need to classify, I think, the needs of your farm. So what is a big tractor going to be? And if I've got 5 acre fields or smaller, then I probably don't need a huge case or class Serian on those fields. Just it's just impractical to get big equipment in and out of them. But if you are at the point where we've opened up all of our fields now, so we can get some seriously big equipment. Or if you're playing on an American farm or Canadian farm where there's just enough room to swing a herd of buffalo, then you're going to be using 18, 20 meter equipment, 40 foot harvester headers, and consequently you're going to need tractors that can do that, but getting in and out of the fields isn't a problem. With British maps, which is typically what they tend to play, the gates are small, or the openings in the hedges are small, and getting huge great tractors and huge pieces of machinery into those fields is an effort in frustration at sometimes. So you only need to buy a tractor that can haul your heaviest piece of equipment, and then, as I said, make sure you have 2 of them, because you're always going to end up at 1 month, it's going to rain in 6 hours, I need to get 3 different jobs done all at the same time. And I've only got 1 tractor that can do it. I've got 4 tractors, I just only have 1 that can do the 3 jobs at hand. I might go back to getting a Deutz-Softer. I don't think I had one on this farm. We had one on the Maypole, which was our first Saturday series of Farm Sim 22. I did decide to sort of split up the life expectancy of Farming Simulator into 2. We'd been spoiled. When I started playing, Farm Sim 17 was the game, and Giants were updating Farming Simulator every 2 years with a new game. So I kind of looked at that and said, okay, my big series is going to be a full run through on just on Lawfolds. The Saturday series was just Lawfolds, and by the end of 2 years we were getting to the point where if we'd gone 3, 4, 5 more years, we'd have owned the map. You know, the game was, we'd won effectively. Then with Farm Sim 19, I picked Oakfield Farm because I'd never played it before. It had been available in Farm Sim 17, but I'd never played that map before, so I decided, yeah, I'm willing to invest some time into Oakfield and personally explore the map myself. And it's a really nice map. And I was only expecting to play it 2 years. And then Giants said, oh, we're not going to have Farming Simulator 21 like what you're all expecting. We're going to delay it another year. It's going to be Farm Sim 22. So I ended up playing Oakfield for 3 years. And again, we owned significant portions of the map, and we were kind of in our end game. But since we've got into, you know, it's a 3-year cycle, I kind of planned ahead, and where we got to on Maypole, it was we were winning big time, and part of that was I was using Maize Plus, and Maize Plus multiplies milk production by something like 10, a factor of 10. So we were just producing so much milk that, one, it was a pain in the butt to ship it all down to the dairy. Fortunately, we were at the farm closest to the dairy, and we were just making so much money on it. It was like, well, we had more work than one person could manage. And it wasn't because of the farming, it was because of the production shipping. Now on this map, I haven't really gone quite so much into the productions, basically because we were silage for the first, what is it, it's year 5 now? I think the first 3 years we just produced maize and grass silage. And last year I did produce some barley, because Scotland and barley, and we bought the flour mill. And then this year I bought the bakery and discovered I can't use it with just flour. This has an expanded production, and you need all sorts of components to make stuff at 2nd and 3rd level. So I can't, you know, I not only need flour, I need milk and dough and all sorts of things. Oil, so I need canola. I need to produce canola oil. I need sugar, because I need the byproduct of sugar, which is yeast, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it kind of, we've got to put in a lot more work than a typical Giants production. But because I can only turn grain into flour, it's not such a big deal. But then again, I am playing with Maize Plus, so I've got to watch if I decide to start manufacturing stuff that needs milk at the bakery. I am going to have to make sure that I control heavily the number of cows I have on the farm, or things are just going to get out of hand. I'm just going to have too much manure, too much milk, too much of everything, and I'm going to spend more time hauling stuff from point of origin to production facility than I am actually farming and caring for animals and selling farm produce. Now, I do know there is now a mod that allows you to distribute stuff from animal pens. So when I do get into I need to produce some milk, I may put that mod into this save just so that we can grow cows and well, the milk tanker arrives every day and takes the milk off to the production facility, and I don't have to buy myself a little tanker and spend 2 hours a day hauling all the milk that I produce. So that's just excessive. But I don't know how far we'll get with that. I mean, it's what? It's August. The new game comes out in November. I probably won't stream the new game until maybe February, March next year. So, because I want, the other criteria I have for streaming is I want a good map. So I want to make sure that the map, there are a few maps to pick from. I also like to try and avoid doing maps that everybody is playing or is YouTubing and streaming, because otherwise you just get lost in the mess, and people like Virtual Farmer and Daggerwin have huge audiences, and their audiences are not going to check out a stream or a YouTube video for the same map that they're watching. I used to do the same thing. I would watch Daggerwin, I would watch Virtual Farmer. If they're playing on the same map, I'm going to pick one and I'm going to skip the other one, because there's only so many hours in a day. So I'm not going to go out looking for Daggerwin's playing the latest Oxygen David map. I'm not going to go out and look for somebody else who's playing the same map. And since I'm not, then I kind of want to vary it up and just say I probably won't play an Oxygen David map. Probably won't play an Oxygen David map again. I mean, back in 19, he did renovate a lot of his Farm Sim 17 maps into 19. But when... Was it that? Yes. But when 22 came out, he basically says, I'm not redoing any of my old maps. You've all played them. If you want to play Chellington, go and play Chellington Farm Sim 19. If you want to play Oakfield Farm, go play Oakfield Farm on 19. There's not going to be a 22 version. I respect that, but it does mean, because he is such a popular map maker with some of the more popular YouTubers, I'm probably not going to play his maps because of that. I played Oakfield because Oakfield was available in 17. Lone Oak was available in 17. I could have quite easily have chosen Lone Oak to play in 19 as well. But they'd already been out, and so the more popular YouTubers decided, well, we've already seen this map, so I'm not going to do a series on it. I'll do a guided tour, but that's about as close as they went. So doing a let's play on it, kind of works out a bit better. And yes, I do know I've completed this, but I'm going to complete it. So we'll have to see what comes out later. Obviously, this map is Cavalier Roy and also Maypole. And Cavalier Roy doesn't have any qualms about reintroducing a map that he's already done in the past. And typically, what a lot of people do is, and I think it's something Oxygen David used to produce a brand new map, but people do try and explore the new features of the game by redoing a map that they produced for the previous version of the game, just so that they can experiment with the game changes without painting a new design. Okay, I want to go right out of here and then right at the end. And same with a lot of the equipment mods as well. People will regenerate a Farm Sim 19 piece of equipment into Farm Sim 22 to take advantage, to take the time to take